We've learned that 1st and 2nd Corinthians are an unusual historical gift within the New Testament. They're the only evidence among the genuine letters of Paul of more than one letter to a community. They give us a sense of a long-standing set of communications. They give us a sense of struggles over understanding and practices. They give us a sense of discussions and debate as communities figured out what it meant to be in Christ in the context of Roman Corinth. So far, we've taken the language in 1 Corinthians of slavery and being free, that is, freed persons, not merely as metaphorical but also as real. Today we're going to turn to another theme in order to understand more about the ecclesia, the community at Corinth. As you've read 1 Corinthians, some themes probably already became clear to you. Let's look at this passage, for example, from 1 Corinthians 12. Now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit, and there are varieties of service, but the same Lord, and there are varieties of working, but it is the same God who inspires them all in every one. To each is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. To one is given through the Spirit the utterance of wisdom, and to another the utterance of knowledge according to the same Spirit. To another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the one Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another the ability to distinguish between spirits, to another various kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. All these are inspired by one and the same Spirit, who apportions to each one individually as it wills. For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ. For by one Spirit we are all baptized into one body, Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and all were made to drink of one Spirit. I've highlighted a few terms because they'll be key in our task today, which is to explore the context in which wisdom, knowledge, and prophecy are important for this very early community in Christ. That is, we'll ask why these are the major themes in the letter and the social, political, and religious context of these themes. We know that wisdom and knowledge and prophecy, in particular as a spiritual gift that emerges from wisdom and knowledge, are important to the Corinthians. They suffuse throughout the letter. The letter starts by talking about wisdom, knowledge, and spirit. It then moves to discuss a Corinthian claim that, and I quote, we all have knowledge. That is, that everyone in the community was somehow spiritual and in the know. The letter moves on to discuss spiritual gifts and how they should be exercised in the ecclesia. And it concludes by thinking about what it means to be a spiritual person in the resurrection. These are big topics, hard topics, and abstract ones. But 3 sub-themes in 1 Corinthians will help us to give a context for this larger topic. First, we'll talk about how wisdom and knowledge were very important to the Corinthians. The letters of Paul reflect the language used by the communities to which he writes and the themes that they're concerned about. But we can wonder what's meant by wisdom, what's meant by knowledge. Second, there are female prophets, women prophets at Corinth, and male too. Let me quote from 1 Corinthians 11, "Any man who prays or prophesies with his head covered dishonors his head. But any woman who prays or prophesies with her head unveiled dishonors her head." Yet there's some tension over women's voices in the community. By 1 Corinthians 14 we read, "The women should keep silence in the churches." A third theme is baptism. It was an important ritual that's connected somehow with the Spirit. We just heard in Paul's writing, "For by one Spirit we were all baptized into one body." To understand better the importance of wisdom, knowledge, and prophecy in 1 Corinthians, we'll explore 3 broad topics: baptism, women in religious and political life in the ancient world, and wisdom, including Sophia, wisdom personified in the Jewish and Greco-Roman traditions.